They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces of this place.
Hey everybody, what's up, man? It's Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. We would hold the truth hostage. Full-time ghosting isn't an option, it's the only choice. Now, I've been thinking about this for a while, I've touched up on it on a stream, but I just wasn't able to articulate it, like explain it in a way it'll make sense. Now, I did a video a while ago, you could watch it, called Broke Man Proves That Sexual Equality Doesn't Exist. You could check that out. It'll probably add more to this video. So what is this video about? This video is about, give me a minute. Yeah, this video is about, man, I'm blanking out on the name, my apologies. But, this video basically is about why, business women that make more money than men will basically end up single, or at least they'll end up dying alone. Now, I know a lot of people have covered this topic. We've seen it all over the internet. Why, if a woman makes more money than a man, why she's not settling, why she can't be with a man. I've seen all these videos, but we know, man, from dealing with me, a lot of these videos are more emotional. They have emotional attachment to the talking point. They got idealism. Basically, the people that cover this topic, they are not logical enough. You know what I'm saying? They're not logical enough. In their pursuit of idealism will cloud the reason why a successful businesswoman will end up alone, will end up single. And also why this also proves that the whole sexual equality thing is a scam. I've been saying it for a while, it's a scam, But you know me, man, I be making streams that are, you might have to find this talking point 2 hours into a stream I made, so I don't blame you for not knowing. But the truth is this, man, and I'm on that full-time ghosting, so I don't, me, this has nothing to do with idealism, attachment. This is just strictly about finding the answer. That's it. Like I said, if you approach the world mathematically, a lot of answers will start to make sense. So let's get to it. So why are successful women, successful business women, why is there a higher chance of them ending up alone, without a man, without a family? Why is this? Is this because of that emotional response? These people online be saying, well, a woman can't respect a man that makes less money, blah, blah, blah. This has been said for over 20, 40, 30 years, whatever the hell. It's been said forever. The truth of the matter is, and I touched up on this on a previous stream, the reason a woman that's in a business situation, that's making more money than a man, cannot be with a man that makes less money than her, it's because a woman cannot adapt to laws and regulations that are made from the male perspective. Now, a lot of guys keep talking about, divorce and this and that, the whole sexual differences and all that. No, that has nothing to do with it. What has to do with it is this. You gotta understand that the laws we live by are written by our fellow man. You gotta understand that. Let me repeat that. The laws we live by are written by our fellow man. And it's written from the perspective, of a man. You know what I'm saying? So the laws are written from a perspective of a man, you know, and there's nothing wrong with it. But when you infuse the perspective, the way a man operates in life, into a woman, what it does is it will destroy that woman. The reason it destroys a woman, when you look at the environmental, when you look at the economical perspective, is that the economics is built around male competition. It's built around male competition, and it's built around how men actually face the world. And what I mean by that, and like I said, man, this might have you rewire your mind. It'll have you rewire your mind a lot. Because what I'm talking about, it's gonna make you realize that the labor force between men and women cannot be the same. It can't be. You know, and the reason it can't be is that when women are competing with men, they have to abandon their femininity. They have to abandon their femininity in a way to basically somewhat give them a little edge to think they'll compete with a man. While when a man competes with a woman, he's just gonna go less hard, you know? He's basically gonna lower down his level. You see, so if a man's competing with a woman, the man will basically lessen his effort. So the man doesn't sacrifice anything. The man is still a man, you know? Yeah. So the man, when competing with a woman, the man just lowers his effort. While the woman, to compete with a man, has to artificially and mentally psych herself to seek to be a man. And what happens with this is that it leads to her abandoning her femininity, and at the end, it's a tool that will destroy her anyway. And it makes a woman basically living against herself, you know? But let's get more scientifical, you know? Let's drop more logic. Let's get more mathematical. And the reason you see women that are making more money and they can't be with a man, you know what I'm saying, that makes less than them, is that women psychologically, mentally, physically, they can't exist in a male perspective. What I mean by that is this. Think about it. Okay, a woman makes more money than a man, right? Let's say that. The woman makes more money than the man, and when she looks at a man, she looks at it as he's not making enough or more money than her, as in he's not in a position that he should be as a man to provide more resources, because a woman is wired more around, a woman is still wired around that gathering, and basically the woman is wired around that what's that perspective? The lesser sex, the weaker sex. So in her wiring, she looks at it as the man should be able to have more than me, make more than me, because that determines his value as a man, being able to protect and provide more resources for her to access. You know what I'm saying? And women cannot look at a man from that perspective. They can't look at a man as still that a man if that man is making less than her, because the way she's wired as the weaker sex, a woman is always looking up. A woman is always looking up to a man for what he has to offer. So a woman is always looking up. You know what I'm saying? She's always looking up because she's the weaker sex, and that man in her life is the only way to defend her against other men. Against other men, be they hostile, be they strangers, and so on. Is that the only way a man can protect her is to not only make more than her, but make more money than other men to be able to compete. You know what I'm saying? And that's where she's logically at. While men, on the other hand, because we are the stronger sex, you know what I'm saying, the more dominant of the two sexes, we're always looking down at a woman. We're always looking down. You know what I'm saying? We're always looking down. We don't see a woman as a threat physically. We don't see any danger or nothing. We don't worry about a woman being a threat to us. We just look at her from a perspective of what can she provide us. You know, that could be a child, that could be sexual, that could be companionship, and so on. We're always looking down because we are the, you know what I'm saying, we are the superior sex. We are the stronger sex. So we're looking down. Now, some men will bend on a knee to look more eye to eye to a woman. You know what I'm saying? Some men will do that. They'll bend on a knee to look more eye to eye, more closer to her, so she can grasp that man a lot more, you know? But for the most part, men naturally, being the stronger sex, we're always looking down. We're always looking down at women, and it's only natural because that's the lower sex. That's the weaker sex in our eyes. We're always looking to other men eye to eye, or we're looking above if another man is taller, stronger than us, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We look at other men in a position of competition and so on, you know? And what I mean by this is that when a woman's in a system where she can make more money, and she's making more money than a man, what this does is it basically challenges her to now look at the world from a male perspective, and she can't look at the world from a male perspective. And think about all the resources she has, the police, the government, and so on. You know what I'm saying? You have all that, but the reason a woman who's making more money struggles to align herself to a man that's making less than her, it's a natural thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a natural thing, and it shows you the way the laws work. Now here's the thing. Now, I think a lot more women would be able to get over this if the laws, you know what I'm saying, if the laws were not set up to where, you know, if the laws were not set up to where not only does the woman able to make more money than the man, but she has more value and more power when it comes to retaliation with the government. You know what I'm saying? With the government beside her. So with the government beside her, and I've been telling guys this a while, the law, with the government beside her, the woman sees no value in what the man provides. And then her having the law behind her to where at a snap of a finger, she could basically destroy a man with an accusation, or literally, you know, I remember that video where that chick punched herself and that bodybuilder, he passed away, I think 3 years ago or whatever, and he caught her on video punching herself. You know, the thing is, in a situation where a woman makes more money, but the government still treats a man like he's a man, the woman will be in a situation where she can still default to the man. You know, she can still see value of protection from that man. She could still see that that man is more reliable than the police. That man is more reliable than the government, because that man, no matter what he's doing, if she's in trouble, that man will drop everything to come help her, to come to her aid. You know what I'm saying? That's what a man provides when compared to the governing body. You know what I'm saying? The police, man, the police gotta police a whole community. You think if one lady calls and says, help, I'm in danger, I'm in trouble, they gotta basically look at assess the danger, assess the emergency values and all that, you know. So the police will take a while to get to her. Is she the most immediate threat? Is she the biggest problem, biggest danger? You know, the police got a lot of things to do to determine if they want to help this woman. You know what I'm saying? So what's happening is this. So the fact that the women are both in a legal position where they can make more money, which ain't a problem. The thing is this, women have been making more money than men a while ago. Not as huge in mass as now, you know, but there's been women that had more resources than men, you know what I'm saying, through their family or whatever. You know what I mean? That's happened before, but the value of the man was still there because the government was not interfering with that man being a man. His rights as a man, his rights to his children. One of my boys told me in the olden days, if the woman was sick or mentally ill, the father would take the kids. The father would be the first to have dibs to take the kids because he's the most, you know, has the, you know, he's the best option when it comes to protection, provision, you know, fatherhood, leadership, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They used to do that. Because think about it. Think about what's going on. Okay. We're in a country, we're in the US, you know, where both sexes are getting paid the same amount, whatever. You know what I mean? So the thing is, think about it and look at it from this perspective. Both men and women are allowed to work and get paid whatever. You know what I'm saying? You add in the government, you know, attacking men and, you know, devaluing man's place as the government has made itself the higher valued man. You know what I'm saying? So what's happened is this, and this proves that, you know, economically, not only economically, but on a level of sexuality, being the weaker sex limits the women, because from being able to actually fully succeed and capitalize on the situation. Because here's the thing, when men make more money than a woman, it doesn't matter. They're still gonna go with that woman, take care of her or whatever, wife her up, make her their, you know, their main woman, whatever you want to call it. You know, the men will just go into that role. And if the men are struggling in poverty, they'll still manage to take care of their family, do what they got to do. And the reason I bring this up is that in the situation we're in, this is how easy it would be. Let's say a woman is making about $250,000 and her man is making about $60,000. Let's say he's making 60. Now, yes, when it comes to the monetary level, yes, that man does not make more money than her. You know what I'm saying? That's clear. That man doesn't make more money than her. But when it comes to what that man offers, that man can still protect his family. You know what I'm saying? That man can still protect, and that man, based on his resources, can still provide within his limitations. And then that man, being a man, can still think to face the world from the perspective of a man. So basically, let's say a woman was making enough money where her man would be, let's say, a stay-at-home husband or whatever, stay-at-home father or whatever. She would come home, her children would still have access to their father. The father would still be able to protect the children, still be able to lead the children, still be able to discipline the children, and most importantly, provide what a man can provide to the children, a sense of protection that doesn't have the children scared and worried. Because like I've been telling guys for years now, when a child sleeps in a single mother household, the level of danger and unease is always there. Because if somebody breaks into the home, if something happens, that child's first instinct is going to be, who's going to protect mom? Who's going to protect mom? Who's going to protect us? But if the father was around, none of that would be there. The child would be, dad is at home, he'll handle it, he'll take care of it. You know what I'm saying? He's the first line of defense. And this proves that the women can adapt to the perspective of the man. It's the perspective of the man. And what this does is it also will suggest in your mind, should there be roles when it comes to employment? Should there be roles based on the sex? You know what I'm saying? And based on the sexes, should there be roles and jobs based on the sexes rather than just, throwing them there? Because what happens is this, man, like I said at the beginning of this video, is that when a woman tries to work and compete with a man, she has to abandon her femininity. She has to abandon the feminine to attempt to compete with that man. But the thing is, in the long run, it will never be possible, because you got to add in the fact that women have periods. Women have periods once a month, the mood swings. Then you add in the potential as they age older, they get hot flashes. Then you add in the bone density and all that. A woman isn't wired to compete with a man. You know what I'm saying? She's wired to compete with women. And the other thing is, the other problem that happens is that in competing with a man to give up her femininity, that woman will basically be on the shelf where she won't have any children. Her dedication to her job. I've seen it where you see these chicks that are managers and all that stuff. They're so zoned in on being a manager, they're wasting away their years of fertility. They're wasting away their years of fertility. Then you add in the factor that she's a manager making more money than the majority of the men she works with or around her or whatever. Now she's automatically disqualifying the men available to her. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about the whole woman that's a boss thing and why she's alone and she ends up alone, it's not that there isn't a way for this to succeed. It got nothing to do with success. It got nothing to do with reasoning. It has to do with the fact that that's a woman. That's a woman attempting to compete with men. And then, she comes up short. She might come up short biologically. Like I said, periods and, having periods in that time of the month and all that stuff. She might come short, you know what I'm saying, to competing with the men physically. Then when it comes to mentally, she might be able to win. There are women that have mentally outdone men here and there in their jobs, whatever, careers. But in the long run, that woman is sacrificing her femininity. You know what I'm saying? While the man could be 50 years old and still have children. The man can still start a family. The man can still add to the population at 50, at 60 as a CEO. You know what I'm saying? But the woman, if the woman dedicated her whole life to her career, she's basically removing herself from that fertility window of having children. Then you add in the psychological, trauma of not being able to adjust to men and how to perceive the world as a businesswoman. You know what I'm saying? Since the whole business and competition is competing with men, and she not being able to compete with the men, you see a recipe for complete failure. It has nothing to do with the narrative you keep hearing, oh man, the woman makes more money, she can't see herself with a man, this and that. It's got nothing to do with the emotional and idealism. No, it has to do with the fact that the woman can't live up to the perspective of a man. A man can naturally, whether he makes more money than the woman, will gladly just take care of her, have some children and so on. You know what I'm saying? And so on, and have some kids and all that. But the woman, on the other hand, in that perspective, she can't, because of being a woman in the aspect of being a weaker sex and automatically looking up to men to see the resources they have that will basically place her in a position where that man can compete with other men, can provide and, against other men's provisions, So it's because the women are always looking up, and they naturally can't exist in a perspective that is male dominated. You know what I'm saying? The work environment. Then you add in, like I said, the government overstepping its boundaries with the family court, the divorce court system, the domestic violence cases between men and women. The woman literally has no option to look at value in the man, because on the one hand, she's making more money, which is already a struggle for her psychologically as the lesser sex. Then you add in the factor of the government being involved, where it's made the men around her basically worthless. Basically she could destroy a man at a snap of a finger. Me Too, false domestic case, or just make a phone call and wipe them out. So it completely devalues the man. So it puts the woman in a position where she's trying to fight her own femininity and her place as the lesser sex. Then you add in the fact that the government has made the men basically far beneath the women legally, to the point where if the men wife up the woman, they're basically seen as the wife rather than the man in a position, So everything has changed, and the woman is basically caught between a situation where she cannot overcome and utilize her position to start a relationship where she would benefit, because you could look it up, 70s, 60s, whatever. There were women that were making more money than the man they were with, but because the laws were not so anti-male, the woman within that relationship would still submit. She would still be in a place of submission, because that man can protect her. That man can provide what a man can provide, that male leadership, that protection. Because like I tell a lot of guys, how you could tell the male's position has been destroyed is, that the majority of men, when they speak, always speak from a perspective of what they can provide, meaning they can't protect anything. They can only provide, you know what I'm saying? And they can provide opportunities and so on, So this is the situation the modern working woman is in. She's in a basically a no-win situation where she makes too much money. She's struggling to look at a man because she's so driven by the perspective of the pursuit of masculinity to compete with men. She's struggling to look at a man as more than less of a man and not competition, and as someone she could start a family with. Then you add in the fact that the government has this whole anti-male legal system designed to destroy the man based on her emotions. You know what I'm saying? A woman could just come home and be mad and literally destroy the man she's been with for over 15 years, you know, by just a false accusation, or a video goes up where she's angry or upset, accuses, and it's done. So this is the situation we're in. You know what I'm saying? This is why the whole sexual equality thing, I've been telling guys, it's a scam. It's a scam. You know what I mean? Because they don't add in the sexual dynamics between a man and a woman trying to compete with a man. The price a woman has to pay to compete with a man is to give up her femininity. They've even shown it in the military where women will go infertile trying to be soldiers. You know what I mean? They've even shown it where the women will go infertile trying to compete with the men as soldiers. You know, so you gotta look at it. It's not a social BS crap. You see them always try to sell you, oh, this is a social thing. This is a social thing. No, it's a sexual. It's the difference between the sexes plus the government interference. Because if you do your history, you'll see times where a woman made more money than a man, and that man was still the masculine and the dominant. You know what I'm saying? That woman was still submissive, and they were still in a positive, good relationship. You know what I'm saying? You can look it up in history, but this is what I've been thinking, man. You know, feel free to comment. Let me know what you think on this, man. This has been Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. We would hold the truth hostage. And like I said, full-time ghosting isn't an option. It's the only choice.
They said the truth won't survive beside the lies that maintain the decaying faces of this place.